Podcast Evolved, your home for Halo.
Spartans to Podcast Evolved, your home for Halo. I'm your host Oran, and with me today we've got David.
Hello everybody.
We've got Oran.
Hey!
And we've got Krysta.
Can you just insert the all hail your Queen Krysta sound bit right here?
All hail your Queen Krysta.
I don't say the hellos anymore. I just go with the sound bit.
It makes more work, but I can do it, I suppose.
You know what? For your queen, you should be happy I asked you to do that.
Technically, I already have a queen, and there were 80 years of terrorism here because of it, so we're not getting into that.
That's true.
Well, that's why you should adopt me. I won't do shit. You'll never have any issues.
Neither does this queen. She does fuck all.
Says the tyrant.
Everyone must play Halo every day.
I'd need to get a Series Xbox first, so we'll see how that goes.
All citizens get a free Series X.
Anyway, while Krysta's rising to power here, today we're going to cover cannon fodder, esports, and Halo Infinite flighting. But before we get started, we will do some socials. If you're new to the show, welcome to Podcast Evolved. We host a variety of shows for you. This is our main show where we talk about news, lore, and sometimes we talk to the listeners. Today's a live show, so hello listeners. There are people in the Discord.
Guys.
If you're listening to this on the podcast feed, you missed your chance, but you can get in on next month. We also do Mission Debrief, Halo Book Club, Builds with Blocks, and Halo Headlines. And we also have a partnership with HCS Pro Talk, where you can go and listen to Josh and Will talk about all things multiplayer and esports. And they are much more knowledgeable than we are on those subjects, so well worth a listen to. You can learn more about all of our shows if you go over to the website, halopodcastevolve.com. And if you're already a fan of the show, we would ask you to please leave us a review on your podcast service of choice, because that's always greatly appreciated. And we'd also like to take a minute to thank all of our patrons for your continued support. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yay!
If you're one of our patrons, you can receive a variety of awards. You get early episodes. There's unique swag. You get free swag. You have access to our soundtrack. What else do the patrons get? Occasionally, we annoy you in the patron-only Discord chat about things.
They get postcards.
Oh, the postcards are actually super sweet. We get custom art.
Yeah, I need to reach out to our next artist.
Oran, I never got any of those postcards. Where are my postcards, Oran? I never got any.
I have them. I need to mail them to you. That is my fault.
They're really cool.
There's five of you international folk. 3 of you are part of the show.
That's so ridiculous. But okay.
There is no money in the budget for international people. Sorry.
There is. It's just time.
If you would like to become a patron and make sure that me and David can get postcards, go to patreon.com/Halo Podcast Evolve to learn more. Finally, we would like to encourage all of our listeners to support us through Audible as well. You can go to audibletrial.com/podcast evolved and you can start a free trial today, and it will also help us out. Fun fact, Audible now provide a new service when you're a subscriber called Audible Plus, and they have like a Netflix style catalogue of stuff you can go and listen to, which is very good. So you don't even have to use your credits to go and listen to that stuff. So that will be my next thing now to tide me over between credits, because I'm currently saving my next credit for the next Halo audiobook, which you could set up your free trial and save your credit for Divine Wind, which is coming out in a few weeks.
Divine Wind just makes me think of like farts. I'm not sure if I'm the only one who thinks about that every time I hear that name of the book, but I don't think they thought it through because it makes me think of farts.
Maybe they were hoping for a more mature audience than us, Krysta.
Oops, I guess I'm not the target audience.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are. Right, last week in Halo, we are going to start with, I guess most of us have done something similar, so we're going to go with David first because he was not in the flight.
I was not in the flight by choice. Thank you very much. I haven't done anything too much other than...
You know you're part of a Halo podcast, right?
Yeah, but there's no lore podcast, and there's no lore in the flights, and I don't want to play broken games.
There's plenty of lore in the flights.
Whatever. That's what you guys are going to tell me about. So I haven't done anything other than some mission debrief missions that we played. So we're in Halo Reach. We just had Long Night of Solace, most recently released one, but we have recorded Exodus in the bag. That was pretty fun. It's a kind of cool series. It's not doing the best on YouTube, so if you guys get a chance, I'd love for you to go and listen. It's our YouTube only show. It's 20 for 20. We're doing like the best 20 missions in Halo. It's pretty fun. It's actually kind of cool. I don't have to do a whole lot, so that's kind of why I like the show. Just kind of show up and be there. Although I'm now like the Zoom guy, so like I feel more important now than ever before.
Oh, congratulations.
Other than that, I've done nothing, absolutely de nada on Halo. But I'm looking forward to hear you guys, how you get on with the flight and stuff. Because all the other interwebs peoples are like super positive on it, so I'm pretty excited that it's being so well received.
Yeah, it seems to have gone pretty good. Will we have to dust off the ancient form of podcast known as the video podcast? Remember when those were a thing?
No.
Remember when we used to stream them?
No, I don't remember that at all. We never did that. That never happened. Wasn't a thing.
I think some of them might be on our podcast involved Twitch still.
No, I don't remember that. Never existed, never happened. Does anyone have anything not flight related to talk about before I pick one of us at random?
Jinx.
Just flight stuff?
I participated in a team meeting this morning.
Oh, how did the team meeting go?
Oh, it was terrible. I hate everybody.
I wish I didn't have to work with any of you guys, actually. It was more of an airing of grievances than a meeting.
It was like a congregational intervention of everything wrong.
To be perfectly honest, it was all going fine, except I didn't expect Colin to call us all cunts and storm off like that. It was really out of character.
Yeah, Colin doesn't usually lose his cool, but...
No, he said something about he would set the children on us, so like, I'm afraid now.
He's been trying to get his children into the Spartan program. They're around that age, so it's been kind of weird, but he's been, like, petitioning.
He's been, like, leaving them alone in the schoolyards and...
And being American kids, they're already firearms proficient, so, like, they have a head start over the rest of us.
He's not wrong.
I'm pretty sure he's cloned them too as well.
Oh god, an army of them. Right. We will talk about flight stuff. The Halo Infinite flight was on last weekend and this weekend, I think. Is the part of the session still underway as we speak?
Yeah, 30 minutes. So if you're listening live, you have permission to still listen to us and play for the next 30 minutes.
You can duck out and squeeze in 2 quick games of Big Team and be back again, and then it'll be on again later on tonight for the second round. So I got to play some on Friday with Tom. Oran, did you get to play with any podcast people?
I did. Tom, fan of the show, creator of the show, of one of the shows. He joined me this morning, I guess afternoon. I only had time to play it before recording this show, so I didn't play last week. I didn't play yesterday or the day before, but I played about an hour and a half worth of Big Team Battle, and then, or I guess an hour's worth of Big Team Battle and about a half hour's worth of Social Slayer. And it feels great. I am excited to just get in there and play more our weapon drills to like fine tune my controller sensitivities and things like that with Halo Infinite's movement. I think once I get through, a good part of the campaign, that will kind of get me into the flow and the dance, if you will, of what the movement is. Because I was a bit overwhelmed with Big Team Battle because it's 12 players, so the maps are just huge, and you have to sprint so much, which I kind of don't like for these big maps. But the pseudo strongholds game type, total control, that was interesting, but like it was definitely a learning curve for me to like. I didn't realize the zones like even changed. And I was like, why aren't we getting points? Because we have 2 of them, but then I realized it wasn't strongholds. So yeah, a bit overwhelming, but I think that's just natural because it's new, it's fresh, and all that kind of stuff. But it still feels Halo. It honestly just feels like the next iteration of the franchise. So I'm excited.
Have you noticed the bases fire off a shot depending on who won what round?
I did not, but I did hear that there's a lot more audio cues. Like even when like your flag gets taken, like there's like an audio rift or something, and like there's definitely more audio feedback in addition to your Spartan AI that also gives you the feedback as well. Like it was kind of weird where like I was running and then my AI would be like, your flag has been taken, and then Spartan Agrina would be like, hey Spartan, your flag was taken, and it's like, okay, like Tom, did you know our flag's taken?
Something that's been happening to me is they'll like repeat the voice line like 4 times in a row, like team is capturing zone A, team is capturing zone A, team is capturing zone A, team. I'm like, oh my god, I know, thank you so much. I definitely know that's happening now.
That's just glitches though, right?
Yeah, that's just glitches.
I did think it was sort of funny that I could hear Tom at one point shouting at his AI while he was on the back of the Warthog, and was like, oh, I can't hear your AI, so you just sound crazy to me. Because he's shouting at this other voice that we can't hear. I enjoyed it. I think Capture the Flag was my favourite, although I got caught completely off guard when we won the first round and then the flags moved and suddenly I was completely lost. And that all went wonderfully until the enemy flag moved into the room underneath the tower and then we couldn't get in to get it.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate when it's there.
Yeah, it's a little too tight to get into. I finally noticed the difference between the fire team colours and the friendly colours, because I assumed all 12 were going to be the same, and then me and Tom landed and went like, oh, right, these guys are in my fire team, but the others are our allies in their fire team. So that was like interesting to see.
I was disappointed. I was hoping that we would go through all 12 players and let them do their little like pose. We're just going to be sitting there for 20 minutes going through every player.
That's the secret, hey, there's no loading screens, but the loading screen is just us watching all 12 Spartans.
15 minutes of us watching everyone do a Fortnite dance because they paid for it.
Yeah, I can't wait until I can pay to do like a middle finger or something like that.
It's not going to be that. It's a T-rated game.
Yeah, there'll be something, but I did really like the map though. Like, it feels a lot bigger than it is. I think we were talking before the show. I think all the verticality in it really helps with the illusion that sometimes it's bigger.
Was it just the one map?
Yeah, it's just the one big team map. It's that, what is the name of it?
Fragmentation.
It's like Valhalla, Blood Gulch, and Sidewinder had a baby. That's like the best way to describe it.
There's also some. You guys remember Timberlands, which is the Halo CE PC that was ported to the anniversary with Halo Reach? Oh, that was a mouthful. But yeah, I kind of got Timberland vibes as well. Just like the general kind of standard Halo Alpine ecosystem with rocks and a lot of hexagons.
The thing I was describing it as is it kind of feels like that bit in Combat Evolved where you have the Scorpion and you come up out of the tunnel and you're in that big open area with the column of stone up the middle that you can run into. And then when you come back later, you get the Banshees and you kill the Hunters and you fly up to the top of it. Kind of feels sort of reminiscent of that area. You've got, big stone cliffs and you can run through hallways and corridors, and then there are doors you can open, although I never tried that. The weapons lockers are in that level, aren't they?
Yeah, they're the doors.
They're like weapon caches. I've read about it, but I didn't try it either. Do you have to like do a thing?
You have to go up to the door and hack it with your AI. It takes maybe like 30 seconds, and you kind of have to hold that point. You can't move too far from the door. And then it opens, and then you get, like, 2 weapon drops and 2 equipment drops.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Are they marked on your map, or do you just have to know where they are?
You just kind of have to know where they are. I mean, they're on either side of the map, so they're all the way to the left or all the way to the right. Some of the points from Total Control will spawn, like, right by the door, so it's really helpful to hack the door while you're trying to hack the point as well, and then go get that weapon drop.
Why are you hacking this point? Is it just, like, to capture it?
Yeah. You just have to you're capturing the point and then you're hacking the door at the same time.
And then when you hack the door, you get goodies.
They're 2 separate things that you're doing. They just happen to be in the same spot. You would know if you played.
Shut
I got a couple of flag captures. I was very excited about that. There's a lot of fun stuff in it. Like, overall, I think after playing that, because playing Slayer had me sort of dreading Halo, because I was sort of like, oh, I suck at this now and it's shit. And then I played Big Team for a bit and went like, no, this is what I want to play. It's just like big social. People aren't out there trying to fucking
360 no scope.
Yeah, people are just goofing around.
You were having a lot of fun. Like, I got the fucking ghost stuck in between 2 trees 3 different times. I was so fed up with myself, and twice I did it in the same place. I backed off a cliff and got stuck between some pine trees.
I saw someone had a wasp and a guy was standing on top of the wasp with a turret. It was so funny. Yeah, it was hilarious. So it's definitely a very different environment than the 4v4s. The 4v4s were very sweaty last weekend.
There was still some sweat this weekend.
Oh, there's still sweat, but I feel like when you got 12v12, there's a lot more room to just fucking goof off.
Yeah, definitely. Like, when you're mucking about and you have other things you can do, it's more fun. And then you can have those moments where, like, me and Tom grabbed a mongoose and just booted our way around to the flag and bolted with it. Which, like, it was fun, and we got the flag and it was good. We still ended up managing to lose that whole game somehow, because about 2/3 of the way through, the other team suddenly discovered their competitive edge and slaughtered us. But up until that point, it was good. Overall, how do we feel about the flight? Like, do you feel happy with it?
Yes. I love it. It's so much fun. I can't wait to play the game.
You're not now worried about Infinite and panicking about it?
No, I don't care. I liked the game a lot. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, like, if this is anything to go by, I'm very excited to see, what other maps and stuff we get and other modes down the line, because I've heard rumors from people that there won't be like a Warzone mode at launch.
Which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
Look, I just want the campaign.
Yes, this makes me really want the campaign. I want to muck around as Master Chief and see what's happening.
Did it look good?
I thought it looked good.
Visually, it's very stunning.
When you're running about, like, there's a room, I think it's like an armory room underneath the towers. When you run into it, it's got sort of blue Forerunner light, and the metallic walls are glowing in this blue light that's cast off everything. And, like, it looks like a very nice room. And when you run around the open world, the trees and the grass and the stuff, I'm sure if you were standing still in theater mode and zoomed in really close to everything, you might see kind of be like Forza, when people stop racing and you realize that all the people in the stands are cardboard cutout, like low-res weirdos. But when you're running around through it, everything looks good. The structures are good. I lost Tom at one stage because he saw a marine helmet with a set of night vision goggles on it, and he was just, that was about 10 minutes.
He just couldn't get away from it.
He needed a screenshot of it, then he needed to theorize about would we have night vision in Infinite, and then I couldn't get him to focus again.
He was just gone.
Yep, that game was a write-off completely. Fun things. Did anyone chuck a fusion coil?
Yes, I did. It's so much fun. It's great.
Oh, the other fun thing, I think Tom's not here to talk about it, but he got into a battle of grapple shots with another person, which was, he may have damaged my hearing. He was screaming that loud down the headset at the time, but he was in the Banshee. He got hijacked in the Banshee. He then grappled the Banshee again and started a hijack, and the other person got knocked out and grappled the Banshee and hijacked back. And this went on till Tom inevitably ran out of grapples and fell to the ground.
Does the grapple have a cooldown or a number of uses? Because I've seen some crazy videos of people like fall off the edge of the map and pull themselves back in and everything.
You can have up to 5 at a time.
Yeah, it has 3 when you pick it up, and then you can pick up others on your way around the map. Is that how it works?
I think it's 3. I think it's 2 or 3 for arena, but then for I think it's 5 for a big team battle. I think you just pick up 5.
That's 5 and it's gone again. You have to pick it up again to get more uses, is it?
But I think there's like a 2-second cooldown or something. Because I was trying to spam the drop wall because I had like a position on like a ledge, and I like threw one, and then I stood at the other end, and I was like pressing the button over and over again, and I was like, why isn't it working? And then someone was shooting at me, and I died. And then I realized that there was like a cooldown so you can't just spam the uses.
Yeah.
But it's only like 2 or 3 seconds. It's very, very minor.
Yeah.
But I was eventually able to set up multiple drop walls because the drop walls have like a timer of like 15 seconds or something.
I wonder if they'll keep that cooldown, because some of the stuff I saw was crazy. Like, it's cool, like, but really crazy, where like people claw themselves back up onto the map, or they shoot up really high, almost out of bounds, and kind of just almost like Spider-Man around the map, just kind of hanging around up really high, constantly grappling.
I think they'll have to do something with it, because 5 shots is probably too many to end up in a situation like Tom was in, where you're just going yoink, 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 yoink over the Banshee.
Yeah.
I could see them cutting it down and maybe saying like you get 2 and that's it. And you can pick up more if you want and hoard them, but you're only going to get 2 on the drop. So I'd be curious to see what they do with it. I don't think there's really much else before we get into the news. Vehicles were pretty good. The Warthog is very reminiscent of the Combat Evolved Warthog. It's fast and slidey. It takes a little while to get used to it. Mongoose is quite nippy as well.
The Ghost is not as floaty as it was in past games. It's a little bit more bulky, and you can kind of feel the weight as you turn. Unless I just had slow sensitivity on, but...
No, I feel like it does feel heavier. It feels like a banished vehicle, so I suppose that kind of makes a little bit of sense. It is this bulkier, heavier thing. I did enjoy shooting the wings off it, though, and getting like weapon damage on it. I loaded up the Behemoth map and mucked about with the equipment for a while. Being able to knock the tires off a vehicle is kind of satisfying.
Does it stop it running and you being able to use it? Or
you can drive on the rims. I took the Warthog and knocked all 4 wheels off and drove about, but you're only like 2 hits away then from exploding.
Yeah, once you get so much damage, your vehicle will just auto-explode, basically. Like, you'll just hear like a charging up noise on the Ghost, and it's like, oh shit, abandoned ship, it's about to explode!
It starts to like blink red, and then you've got whatever it is, 15 seconds, 10 seconds, and then you've got to get out. I think that's about it. I didn't get any of the air vehicles. I never got I'd always see the Pelican taken off, but I was never really there for landing with anything. I think we had a Wasp in one game, and then Tom had the Banshee, and that was about the height of it. Right, anything else we want to talk about the flight before Oran takes us through the news?
No.
In that case, then, we will bounce over. Oran is the main man for the news, and we will just talk over him when we want to.
Yeah.
Live listeners, if you're listening in chat, post your comments in the live show thread, and we will keep an eye on them and shout them out as and when we need. Oran, over to you.
Right, so this past month, it started off with a cannon fodder, where we were formally introduced to the idea of fractures and what fractured content is and how it's going to be affecting Halo Master Chief Collection and Halo Infinite. So I'm going to read directly from the blog. It says, Halo Infinite will have fractures, content that isn't quite canon and exists in its own branch, in quotations, of the lore. Season 8 of Master Chief Collection, dubbed Mythic, will showcase Halo in a deliberately divergent way, which is similar to what will be shown in Halo Infinite's Fractures. Whether it's a samurai take on Star Wars or a steampunk take on Batman, seeing familiar elements given a wild and far-out twist can simultaneously give a fun new thing to enjoy while also helping you appreciate the core reasons of why you love the original thing in the first place. I don't think Master Chief Collection Season 8 is out yet. I think it's probably going to launch shortly after the Infinite Flight in early October. Yeah, you could check out all the different Halo 3 and Halo Reach armor sets and armor pieces that give like this Greek and
medieval,
knight sort of like, and I think Viking. I think those are kind of the three areas, is kind of like a Norse, a little bit of Greek, a little bit of knight, and Dark Ages sort of vibes. And they look cool, and we've kind of like seen a little bit of this with like Halo Online armors coming in that are a little bit more in the far out sort of realm. I think that like the Halo Online armors are still like more canon than these Fractured Season 8 armors are, so it's a little bit of a fluid line, I guess, between what's a fracture and what's not. And it's interesting, I was following Chris, a friend of the show with Halopedia, on Twitter, talking with Jeff about how to distinguish these fractured contents from each other. And it was interesting to kind of see his perspective of trying to just organize the Halopedia pages to make sure that it's all consistent and accurate. So shout out to him. But yeah, you can check out these armors, and then they'll be in the season when it launches. But it gives us context to what we're going to be seeing with these fractured events that are going to be present throughout Halo Infinite's life cycle. And I think this is kind of their best way to add, like they said, kind of more than just your Space Marine armor, because that's what we've had with Halo for the last 20 years. And now we'll be able to have more in there.
I was talking with Tom a while back when we were talking about things, and like we were going like, it's a good chance to do weird shit, and I'm here for it. Like, if at some point down the line they were to do something crazy and like maybe bring a few Destiny suits of armor from like main Destiny characters into Halo, something weird like that.
Well, I think it's very telling that they call out, Batman and Star Wars. I mean, those are licenses. So like, if they start like licensing agreements and we're getting non-canon crazy themed armors from other IPs, that could be good and or bad.
Honestly, if you look at Fortnite, that's what made Fortnite so popular. I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If they're looking at that and going, we can just do that and just call it something else.
Even the way you look at Gears 5, where I jumped back into it a while ago there, you can get multiplayer skins where you're the fucking Terminator and you can just run around in your Metal Skeleton Terminator or as Sarah Connor and slaughter people. I'm all right with doing weird shit like that, because you're not sitting there going, oh, Terminator's not canon in the Gears universe. It's totally fine. If you tell me I can have a Batman suit of armor in Halo, like, fuck it, I'll give it a go. And if you can pick and mix, like, if you're going to go down the line and go like, yeah, we had the Batman suit of armor and you got it, and you go, yes, but these shoulder pads are the fucking shit and I want to stick them on my other Spartan, like, stuff like that could be cool. And it gives a bit of variety, because like we've said a couple of times, there's only so much Space Marine you can really do. Getting into weird shit is like a good way to keep things fresh.
No, it's exactly what they're looking at. We'll see how it goes, but it's nice to get some of the context. They're kind of just bite feeding us some of this information that they've been talking about over the last couple of months. Bite feeding. Is there a better way to say that? It's like a saying, isn't it?
They're drip feed. I think drip feeding.
Drip feeding. That's it. That's what I was looking for. Drip feeding us. There. It is.
Yeah. Bite feeding. That's so aggressive.
I feed you Halo.
Just how Jeff likes it.
Yeah. The nibbles. Little nibbles.
Nibbles. To wrap up this cannon fodder, we had a little description about the Halo Infinite's multiplayer cinematic intro that premiered at Gamescom, I believe. It says, Commander Agrina knows firsthand the difference a Spartan can make, a difference never more important than now. Humanity's forces are scattered. Desperate resistance efforts have continued to fall short on multiple fronts, from Cortana's relentless martial law to the expanding power and ambition of Atriox and the Banished. But there is hope, a new generation of Spartans training in secret to become unstoppable. In this cinematic introduction to Season 1 of Halo Infinite multiplayer, get a glimpse into the Academy Commander's own heroic journey and what it truly means to be a Spartan. Can't wait to play campaign after reading that. That's all I have to say.
That's our nice introduction to the canon reason why the multiplayer exists. Like, here are the super secret Spartans we've been training super secretly.
Super secretly. Which you, the player, is canon. So, like, your multiplayer Spartan journey is canon. You are one of these Spartans.
Except for whatever crazy-ass Fortnite armor you've put on your Spartan and are running around in.
You're just wearing the default armor and just projecting these fractured content. That's a very good delineation that you put there. You're paying attention to the show.
I hope we get some, like, story content along multiplayer as the seasons go along, kind of like Spartan Ops, but better. Like, okay, the Spartan Ops cutscenes, always good. Missions, not so good. But, like, if we got one of those every season,
I could see the multiplayer and like this Halo journey that you're going on. I can see that evolving into a revamped Spartan Ops type of future content. You know, I feel like it's malleable in the way of what they're doing with the multiplayer and how it's separate from campaign and it's free to play and all this kind of stuff. That could be something down the line that they eventually build towards, and it's. You know, they take the learnings from Spartan Ops of Halo 4 and make it whatever it is and make it better.
Imagine if they've fooled us this entire time and there's actually a multiplayer campaign and we'll all play as Commander Agrina going through the years.
There you go. That's how you get or onboarded as a new Halo player. You just play through Agrina and through her eyes of the other Halo games.
Oh, that would be kind of sweet.
All right, let's move on. So we had the Halo Infinite multiplayer technical preview outcomes blog post. It's just a top level view of the learnings from the first Halo Infinite flight. It's a lengthy read. I recommend everyone go check it out, especially if you have participated in the second flight and didn't participate in the first flight, just to kind of see what people are talking about, where the concerns are, what 343 is doing to address those concerns, and how the game is just evolving over the last couple of months. We had a Designing the Esports Ecosystem post where they, 343 and the Halo Championship Series, announced their partnered teams. They said that the following 9 teams will be considered HCS partnered teams that Halo Infinite's launch. Partnered teams provide financial investments to go directly into the funding of the HCS ecosystem. They have an in-game content available to purchase, community booths during events, and ability to film content at events. So it's these 9 teams: Cloud9, E-United, FaZe Clan, Fnatic, G2, Na'Vi, Sentinels, Space Station, and Envy.
Are there non-partnered teams then that exist?
There are non-partnered teams. Basically what the partnered teams mean is that those teams have financial stake in the esports ecosystem. So they're basically they're like sponsors, if you will, for HCS, and with that they help grow the ecosystem by providing financial support. And with that they get a few like non-competition perks, because obviously they don't get any sort of advantage. They still have to qualify, they play with the same settings, but they just have the backing of 343, and they're providing X amount of dollars to help fund some of these events and things.
The teams themselves are sponsoring the league and not the other way around.
Yes. You have like sponsors like Monster Energy or whatever sponsor whatever team, but then you have that actual team sponsoring the Halo esport, if you will. It's like if like a soccer team were to like sponsor the World Cup.
Which is crazy to think about, but yeah, I see. I get what you mean.
But there's a lot of details in there, and like I was about to say, our Will and Josh over at HGS Pro Talk dive into it in their latest episode 202. Actually, wait, no, this one they dive in earlier, I think. But anyway, regardless. Oh, also to note about these specific teams is that they have their own armor coatings that I think you can purchase through the game, and so like I think it's interesting of like, you know, we've known teams from Red and Blue, but like these esport teams would be like using their specific armor coating to fight against other Halo's teams in like esports, just kind of making it much more, I don't know, combative, I think. I think that's just like very interesting to think about. So we have the Halo Master Chief Collection September 2021 development update that was in the middle of the month. It talks about Season 8 and how it's going to launch later this fall with more unique customization content, quality of life updates, fixes, and brand new features. They also stated that Season 8 will be the last official update to Master Chief Collection this year. Not of all time, like I read some articles on the internet because they don't know how to read and they just want the clicks. But this is the last update for Master Chief Collection for the calendar year. They said 2 key points to look out about future updates in the Master Chief Collection and Halo Infinite is that we have more Master Chief Collection work that we want to do in support to continue. And starting next year, we will be pivoting away from our current seasonal model and cadence to instead focus on smaller Master Chief Collection updates that can land when they are ready based on development statuses and studio roadmap alignments.
Didn't we pivot away from smaller updates to seasonal updates, and now we're pivoting back from seasonal updates to smaller updates? Or am I missing that?
No, I think you're right, and I think ultimately that's just because of how like the game's been evolving over the last couple of years and how they've been updating it.
It became more important to have MCC, and now it's less.
And I think early on it was just a matter of like, all right, we have things that we need to fix, but we don't know like when they're going to be fixed. We're still like investigating. Like I think the workflow and the roadmap like wasn't there. That made it difficult for them to stick to some sort of schedule. And then once they put Master Chief Collection in a good state, they were like, all right, now we're going to come out with these seasons. You know, we were bringing everything to PC, except that they kind of tied the seasons to the PC's release. We've updated the game substantially since it launched in 2014, yada, 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 yada. But then now with Halo Infinite, they're going to be pushing a lot of support into Infinite. So it only kind of makes sense that their support doesn't go away for Master Chief Collection, but it just simply kind of takes a back seat. It'll be interesting to see how this plays with what they've said previously, where they have 10 seasons planned for Master Chief Collection. So if they're kind of removing seasons, what happens to the content that was planned for those other 3? Like, are they just going to come out with Season 8, or are they just going to kind of be released and updated and just be like, oh, hey, by the way, there's another season track if you want to update, you know, spend your Spartan points to do or whatever. So I mean, there's a whole lot of content to unlock in terms of customization items because of all the things that they've added, to where if you didn't want to play Halo Infinite or take a break from it, like you still need to devote quite a lot of time to get season points to unlock. There's a lot of content out there. The blog link just continues the discussion about all the work in progress content and features that they're working on for Master Chief Collection. There's an interview about the Season 8's development, as well as the future of MCC modding. So you can check those out if you want those details. Circling back to the HCS, they announced the top 25 Halo esports players of all times throughout the month of September. Again, want to shout out HCS Pro Talk. Go listen to their show. They talk about it on episode 202. If you want to know who the big winner was, it was Ogre 2. If you don't know what that means because you don't follow esports, then go listen to HCS Pro Talk. But it was kind of a no surprise because of all the accolades that this Halo player has gotten just over the years. He's been playing Halo since the beginning. So congratulations to Ogre 2. We have got our Inside Infinite for September. Again, very lengthy, so I'm not going to really dive into it because we've covered it before, but it's basically a deeper look into the design philosophy of Halo Infinite's multiplayer and progression system, which we got a taste of back in December. They first announced these Inside Infinite series, but this kind of gives you a little more context. It talks about the first flight and the second flight that's going on right now. So there's just a lot more perspective in there and, you know, more design philosophy and such. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, it's a good read. Let's see, we already talked about our multiplayer flighting reactions, so I won't touch on that. There was another blog post about the technical preview and how, you know, well it went, what were the key areas to fix, and kind of looking out towards the second Halo Infinite flight that we're doing right now. We got some concept art as well released. 4 pieces of concept art that were left in the game files, so they decided to just release them in full glory. They're non-spoilery, and they're going to be included in the Art of Halo Infinite from Dark Horse Comics.
It's actually more than 4. Is it not like a zip folder of 60?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's for like every loading screen.
Oh, wow. I missed that link then.
I'll have to dig it out, but there is a full zip folder. I'm pretty sure Ian already has it catalogued away. But there is a whole zip folder of 60 pieces.
That makes a lot more sense, because I was like, really, there's 4 photos and you're making like this big deal about it? Like, I mean, they're cool and I like them.
There is one photo of Master Chief lying on the ground and Atriox kind of looming over him, so...
Oh, really? Well, they said it was non-spoilery, so I guess that means they're friends.
Yeah, they're totes bad. That might be a spoil. They were just going out for Starbucks, you know? He was just waking Master Chief up, going like, hey, we're gonna get some iced coffee.
Hey man, I gotta get this hangover off me. It was a rager last night. Let's go get some coffee. Well, alright. Well, if you look at the blog post, I'm sure there's a link that I missed, so apologies for that. But you can check out some concept art and use them as some pretty badass desktop photos, or even Xbox dashboard photos if you upload them to Google Drive. More esports. So we have the kickoff event in Raleigh, North Carolina. Again, HCS Pro Talk, friends of the show. They're amazing. Episode 202, save it. They talk about it. But I wanted to note this because they are opening back up in-person events and they have COVID protocols, and I'm not sure what else, we don't know what else 343 has planned, but like there's usually launch events and there's other types of meet and greets and there's Outpost Discovery that, may or may not come back. So I think it's interesting to kind of see how this event is being handled, because it kind of gives us an idea of what 343 is thinking about for future events beyond just esports. The last Halo esports event was in February 2020, right before, COVID attacked in Anaheim, California. This will be the first Halo Infinite esports event, and it's on December 17th through 19th, with starting prize pool of $250,000.
That's going to be fun to watch. I'm sure they'll stream it.
Oh, yeah. And the game's going to be out for like 10 days.
There's going to be some crazy plays. It's going to be nuts.
Watching this with like a very minimal understanding of the game is going to both be interesting to see what like mistakes are made, but also just to see like what people have already discovered, because they've just been like doing nothing but playing this game.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's going to be a fun event. Even if you're not into esports, it's probably going to be worth watching at least a little bit of that event.
Definitely. If you are in the area and you want to go, spectator and VIP tickets are on sale now. I don't know if they're already sold out, but VIP tickets might be. And they have some COVID protocols. They say all attendees must present proof of vaccination as well as a photo ID each time they enter the venue. Non-vaccinated individuals must provide proof of negative COVID-19 test results from at least the prior 72 hours each day with a photo ID. So if you go for multiple days, you might have to take multiple tests.
You can just buy like the rapid tests and bring those in, I suppose.
Maybe you can. I don't know. I mean, they didn't really specify, but they have a FAQ and like an email hotline, and you can kind of find out more information there. But they also said that masks will be required for all events, which includes spectators, coaches, event coordinators, and players. And there's just more information about team format, event format, and passes and all that kind of stuff in the post if you want to go read it or listen to HCS Pro Talk. But what's interesting is that, they're still taking all these COVID precautions, and this is an event that takes place in North Carolina. In the blog post, they said, like, per state regulations, you have to do this, which to me implies that, like, each state that they have these types of events would have different guidelines because each state is different.
That must be a nightmare for the event coordinator. Like you have to contact every single state that you're going to have an event in to see what their regulations are, and then create an entirely new like FAQ and shit like that. Oh, seems like you need you need to hire like a specific person just to do that kind of shit. Yeah,
just to verify and check everything. So anyway, I think it's an interesting perspective on kind of this return to normalcy that everyone across the world is experiencing. And this is, the step that 343 and the HCS are taking. So It'll be interesting to see how it fares. It'll be interesting to see how they deal with positive outbreaks, because that will inevitably happen to some degree. We've seen it in sports. We've seen it in musical venues. So, we'll take the precautions and we'll see how it goes. Here's hoping to some form of Halo Infinite launch party that we're invited to. Jeff, hello?
I can be sick for a couple days.
Yeah, I'll be, I gotta just check on some things, boss, But yeah, interesting stuff. And lastly, for our monthly news, we have our book-ended cannon fodder, number 119, preview. I wrote purview twice in my notes, but that was wrong. Jeff gives us some snippets of lore for the Scorpion, Shock Rifle, and Heatwave, which are now prominent in the new flight. We get some lore for the maps for Fragmentation and Behemoth, so I will read those. For Fragmentation, set within one of Zeta Halo's Marid canyons, Fragmentation is rife with ignitic elements and to take in and mull over. From ancient artifacts and nebulous nodes to network beacons channeling untold energies, this map is one to add plenty of wonder to the wander. And Behemoth, amidst the backdrop of the vast desert landscape, Behemoth offers a glimpse into one of Zeta Halo's tectonic fabrication seams, architectural features built to serve a multitude of parallel purposes from remediation to transportation. So, David, you completely understand what these mean given the context of the maps when they're on, when you're playing them. It definitely promotes the immersion of playing, and I think you can agree to that.
100%.
And finally, we have to shout this out, that this Cannon Fodder marks the 7th anniversary of Cannon Fodders, as the first Cannon Fodder was launched in September 29th, 2014. So congratulations to Jeff, friend of the show, for 7 years and 119 Cannon Fodders later. He gets sentimental and reflective in kind of the second half of the post. I highly recommend everyone go read it if you haven't read it yet. It's truly great what he's been doing and pulling together for the Halo community and us lore community fans. So wonderful job, Jeff.
Yay, Jeff!
Yay, Jeff!
We love you.
And that's the news.
Thanks, Oran. Next up, we have Evolved Digest, and we are going with David.
So the Evolved Digest, guys, so that's pretty much what's going on with us. And as you can imagine, we're pumping out the stuffs. So we have Evolved, the Road for Infinite. Lore topics we think is relevant in Halo Infinite. So our last episode was number 18, so that was 57 to Infinite. Our next episode is going to be 2559 to Infinite, which is pretty close, because we're pretty close on the dates now. I think Infinite is 2560. Is it just 60? I think we're close. I can't remember the time difference. The character dossier is happening. We're talking about the lives and accomplishments of the loved and not so loved Halo characters. So our last episode was Dr. Halsey. Our next episode will be Cortana, because they need to be split out. Mission debrief. We are going into, like I mentioned, the 20 for 20 game. So our last mission was Long Night of Solace. The next one coming up for you guys is Exodus. So we're in Halo Reach at the moment. The Halo Book Club. So our last book club was The Return and a motion comic. That was pretty cool. Myself and Krysta took care of that bad boy. The next one coming up is the Second Sunrise of New Mambosa. I can't remember this one off the top of my head. Is it a comic?
It is a comic, yes, from the Halo graphic novel.
Oh, old school. Is that the one with Petra in it? I think it might be. Or Ben. Is it the first time with Ben? I don't know. I think I know which one that is. Anyhow, Builds with Blocks is still happening, so that's all centered around the micro action figure, guys, if you weren't aware, and the brick-based construction sets. So the last video they had was the evolution of the micro action figure with Kevin MCX. We have the latest review, which is the UNSC Marine and Grunt Conscript 2-pack. And their next video is, I think it's on like they have like their top 5. They have some kind of top 5 thing they're doing. I think the guys are happening at the moment. So be aware, it's happening.
Yeah, they're doing a few things. I think they're shifting their schedule a little bit, and I didn't update this. I think they said something about Halo Wars 2 sets or something, top 5 of those.
I remember being a top 5 show that they have coming up. The HCS Pro Talks, that's with Josh and Will, like we said, they talk about the Halo competitive scene. So they've got a recent map Legends with the Pit that Oran takes care of with them. Last month they also talked about the Halo Championship Series.
Evolved.
Hello, Podcast Evolved audience. That was a terrible accent. And welcome to Inside HCS, your monthly recap of all things Halo Esports presented by us. None other than HCS Pro Talk, your weekly Halo Esports podcast. For this segment, we'll be recapping the HCS news and competition from the month of September. So let's get right into it. Will, Infinite is right around the corner on December 8th, which means I think it's time for another refresher on what exactly is the HCS. So please, let the listeners know.
For this segment, we always want to open with what the HCS exactly is. The HCS, or the Halo Championship Series, is an umbrella that all Halo competition basically lives under. As of right now, official tournaments are on a little bit of a break until the release of Infinite, but the community continues to put on a show. For all major announcements from the HCS team over at 343 Industries, please make sure to follow their Twitter account at HCS and their new official YouTube channel by searching for Halo Esports. Josh, it's finally happened. We know where the very first Infinite HCS event is and when it is taking place. Let the people know.
That's right, Will. The HCS Kickoff Major taking place in Raleigh, North Carolina on December 17th through the 19th, 2021, with a starting prize pool of $250,000. A total of 32 teams will be competing in double elimination championship bracket through a combination of the following: 16 teams coming from the open bracket competition, and 16 invited teams competing in pool play. There will also be a free-for-all tournament taking place for all those in attendance. Will's going to compete. Hopefully you had your opportunity to purchase spectator passes, as the event is officially sold out from a spectator standpoint. Team passes go on sale on November 17th, so if you want to compete in the very first official Halo Infinite HCS event, make sure you buy your pass when they become available. Will and I are going to be attending the event, so make sure to hit us up on social media if you want to meet up. We're still waiting on some critical information regarding this first event, including competitive settings and more. Will, something tells me you have a little more information on that. Please let us know the recent HCS news from the last month.
Yes, we'll start off with the top 25 Halo players of all time. What was meant to be a lighthearted and celebration for professional players from every era of the Halo turned into a little controversy. Regardless, the HCS have announced the top 25 Halo players of all time. The list had some notable shakeups, with one of the biggest being Ogre 1, one of the winningest Halo players of all time, coming in at number 11. As for the best, here are the top 5. Number 5 was Royal 2. 4, I Got Your Pistola. 3, Snakebite. 2 was Lethal, and coming in at number 1 was Ogre 2. For the top 10, the HCS released individual videos for each player, and they are all incredible. Please check out the entire playlist of videos on the HCS YouTube channel. The Infinite competitive settings tease, like Josh mentioned earlier, we know that the Infinite competitive settings information is coming very soon. Tashi, the 343 Halo Esports lead, has stated, look for a full blog interview, the Sandbox, MP, and competitive insights teams, as well as a full gameplay start to finish dropping late next week, which happens to be this week. Expect a full breakdown on all the information during next week's episode of our show. That is all the HCS news I have for the last month. So, Josh, what tournaments did the community put on for the players around the scene?
The Blue Team Tournament's Rainbow Road FFA Series for Halo 4. The end is inching closer and closer, with the Blue Team Tournament Rainbow Road FFA Series shining a spotlight on the controversial Halo 4. While King Nick won the first qualifier, it was another professional player in Suspector who took home the championship prize, along with his spot in the Halo Infinite Grand Finale Tournament. There's one more game to go in this lead up to Halo Infinite, and Will's going to talk about it shortly. The Money Tuesday Infinite Kill Race. During the most recent Halo Infinite technical preview, the LVT Productions crew set out to do another kill race event, this time with a bracket to boot. The setup? Take the best performances from the top 5 Slayer and top 5 Objective games during the final scheduled play session, and then total the kills. The multi-FPS champion makes his grand return to his Halo roots, with Shotzi and Falcated taking the win in dominant fashion over some other incredible names in the scene, including young phenoms in Frosty and Renegade, along with Halo veterans Flamesword and Ace, and many more. To put things into perspective, Shotzi and Falcade scored a total of 648 kills over the course of their 10 best games. The second place team of Gilkey and Sab scored only 534 kills in their 10 best games. While we're all looking forward to the first Halo Infinite HCS event in December, the community continues to do incredible things. Will, what do we have to look forward to in the month of October?
We will have the Esports Arena Halo 5 4v4s. The competition continues every week, so make sure to sign up and compete every Sunday in some Halo 5 goodness. We have the SWAT Nation Halo 5 4v4 SWAToween Reanimated. Leave it to SWAT Nation to continue to put on special themed events. This time with a sequel to their Halloween event of last year. You have until October 28th to register, with the event taking place on October 30th. It's time to get spoopy one more time. The Blue Team Tournament's Road to Infinite Halo 5. The final game leading to the Infinite Grand Finale. Halo 5 closes out the Blue Team Tournament's Rainbow Road series of events. The Halo 5 Championship is scheduled for October 24th, and the top 2 players will secure their spot in the Infinite Grand Final Tournament. We also have DJ Blue PDX's Respawn All-Stars Halo 4 Griffball Fall Series. Where there is Halo competition, there is Griffball. This time, DJ Blue PDX has teamed up once again with Play Griffball to put on a fall series of events in none other than Halo 4. The dates for the events are October 23rd, November 13th, and December 4th. There are also some incredible Astro Gaming prizes up for grabs for the first, second, and third place teams of each event. We've got a lot to look forward to over the course of October, but that's all we have for this month's segment. Josh, back to you to close things out.
Thank you for joining us on this edition of Inside HCS for September. If you're interested in finding out more about these tournaments or anything else in the competitive Halo scene, please check out HCS Pro Talk on all the socials, YouTube, Twitch, and anywhere you happen to find your podcasts. Podcast Evolve crew, take it away.
Evolved.
Thank you, Josh and Will, for this month's Inside HCS. Watch their show live on Monday nights around 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Those are all fake times, so I have no idea what the real times are. They're on twitch.tv HCS Pro Talk. Follow them on YouTube as well to get some fun stuff from the guys. Also, shout out to them for crossing 200 episodes. Fucking hell, fair play, guys. Well done. They celebrated with an interview with Tahishi, an esport lead for 343i on Microsoft. Fair play, guys. Well done. That's our Evolved Digest.
Is that us? Do we think we've done enough?
I believe so.
It's been about an hour.
We do a lot, guys.
We've had a good episode. That should be pretty reasonable. All right, we will wrap it up then, and we will all go home. And definitely not record another
I'm already
episode
home.
straight after this. Some of us aren't home, Oran. That's just fine. Thank you for joining us. Like we mentioned at the top of the show, you can find all of our episodes over at halopodcastevolve.com. You can get all the unique feeds for everything there. If you want to listen to everything all in one feed, look for Halo Podcast Evolved in your favourite podcast service of choice. Once again, thank you to all of our patrons for your continued support. You make everything possible. If the numbers keep going up, someday you're going to buy us all Series X's.
Hell yeah.
We believe in you all. We love you. Finally, if you would like to get your voice on the show, you can leave us a voicemail and you will get featured in the next live episode. So you can call 205 Evolved, that's 205 386 5833. And if you have something Halo related that is appropriate, because we will filter them, we will know if it's smut and you're not getting on the show.
Wow.
Yeah, just putting it out there. You can leave a voicemail and we will feature you in the next live show. And considering we don't get voicemails for every month, you have a pretty good chance of getting your voicemail on the show if you go and leave one. So just putting it out there. Alright, that will do us for this week. I have been your host, Aaron, and until next time, Evolved.
Evolved!